This is the all-new Viltrox AF 28mm F1.8 Z mount lens. Now, I'm going to put my hand up here and say I was very skeptical when I first heard about this lens, but after getting out and using it, it's now become my one and done prime lens. Find out why next. Just a quick shout out to the team at Viltrox for sending me this lens out to test and review. But Viltrox aren't paying me to do this video, so any sort of findings or opinions I've got of this lens are mine alone. 28mm. What's that focal length actually good for? Well, it turns out lots. That's the thing that surprised me the most about this lens. But before I go more in depth on that, here's what you get in the box. You get your manuals, warranty card, and lens pouch. And as always with Viltrox, the lenses are well packaged in thick foam. You also get a plastic lens hood and front and rear lens caps. First impressions, feeling the all metal build on this lens, it felt solid, well made, and I noticed you do get a USB-C port on the rear of the lens for future firmware updates via your PC or laptop. It's an FX or full frame lens and weighs in at 367 grams. Has a 55mm filter thread, 9 aperture blades, maximum and minimum aperture is f1.8 to f16, and this can be adjusted either manually on the lens or you simply switch to the auto mode to adjust the aperture inside the camera. Minimum focus distance is 37 centimeters and retail price is $379 US. As you see here, it supports eye detect autofocus, no worries on my Nikon Z7. Focusing is quick, smooth, and silent between objects, which is good news for video makers and those just needing a quiet lens. Now, for a bit of fun to do some color and sharpness tests with this lens, I'm gonna be using this old color checker that I found. I was doing a bit of a clean out at my cupboard right here, and I found this. I think I bought this for something like 50 cents at a garage sale when I first got into photography. Look how old this is. How old is it? Have a look at these photos on the back. Look at the photo studio gear and the TV studio gear. Oh man. But you know what? It'll still do the job. I like how on the back here, it's got a little chart so you can actually test and see what the colors match up to with whatever you're shooting. But anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this chart out in the full sun. I'm going to put this Viltrox lens on my Nikon Z7. I'm going to have all the lens corrections turned on in the camera, as well as the white balance. I'm going to set it to full sun. So looking at these results, you can see wide open at f1.8, there's some evidence in the corners of vignetting, but you can very easily get rid of that in seconds in post-processing, as most of you know. Cropping in, it's pretty sharp in the center there at f1.8. Stopping down to f2.8 helps to get rid of that vignetting, and in the center, again, it's quite sharp. And in those corners, the sharpness is improving. Here's what f4 looks like, much better in those corners now. f8, and finally, f11. Realistically, you have to think this is a $379 US lens. These results were pretty good, I feel, for a lens of that price. If you want any better, then you'll have to fork out over 2.5 times more in cash for the closest native Z mount prime. Here's a quick montage of shots in both stills and video using this setup right here in front of me. The photography settings and video modes will be down the bottom of the screen. So after using this lens for the last 2 weeks, little did I realise what I could use that fixed 28mm focal length for. And I'm talking things like street photography, landscape, astro, portrait, architecture. When out in the field, if I wanted tighter or looser frame shots, I simply just use my feet to move back or forwards. Now, obviously, this wouldn't work when you're standing on the edge of a cliff or a riverbank. In that case, you just crop in post-processing. But in terms of a one and done prime lens, this would be it for me for the type of photography that I mostly do. Check this landscape photo example of some trees. By just moving about 7 meters back, I'm able to get more trees in the frame. When the minimum focus distance of 37 centimeters isn't close enough, I just crop in post on things like flowers. And lastly, portraits. And please pay no attention to the weird looking guy in this shot, but you can see 28mm makes for such a beautiful mid-shot range. You can go for a head and shoulders shot, but you do get a little close to the person you're photographing. And check this out when I use the Viltrox as a studio lens on my Z7 camera that I'm filming on right now. You get a really nice mid-focal range, as well as look at the background at F1.8. You get a really beautiful soft bokeh. The wide angle of 28mm for me, I discovered, and dare I say it, is a real Goldilocks focal length. It's not too wide like you'd get with, say, a 20 or 24mm prime, and it's not too close like a 35 or a 50mm prime. 28mm seems just right. For more information on this Viltrox AF 28mm F1.8 Nikon Z mount lens, I've left you a link in the video description box below. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed the review. Thank you so much for watching. Never stop creating, and I'll see you next time.